What are the Apple computer price points you should shoot for? Let's talk about it. Welcome back to the channel. So you want to buy a new Mac in 2024, right? Now, a lot of people are saying, oh, the new Macs are going to be coming out next month. You got to wait for that. I look at it totally different. Now is the best opportunity to buy a new Mac because of the price. The price is going to go down on the current models, and you're looking for these sales. So in this video, let me just set up the video. I'm going to go through a whole bunch of different models of all the current Macs that are out right now, and what is the price you should be looking for to make the purchase. So you don't want to pay full price right now because obviously the new ones could be coming out in the future, but you want to get a really good deal or a sale on that. So I'm going to give you those price points. We're going to go through a whole bunch of different Macs. I'm going to say, this is where you should buy it. This is the price you should aim for. And then wait for that price because it might even go lower than that, but you want to at least get this price so you know you got a good deal. Just like this 15-inch, this is a MacBook Air 15-inch. This is, what is this, 512 gigabyte SSD, 16 gigs of RAM. This is a great sale right now. We'll get into this as well. But overall, there's a whole bunch of sales out there, and let's go through all these price points right now with you. All right, number one, you want to buy not even a Mac, but you want to buy the Mac Studio display, the $1,599 display, right? There's a really good sale right now, and this is the price point you should be looking for right now. Right now, it's on Amazon. I'll have a link to this, all the stuff in the description, but it's $12.99. Apple Studio display right here, standard glass, 19% off, so $300 off this right now. An incredible deal. It's one of the lowest prices I've ever seen. So once it reaches this price, then I'm going to give you the example here because this is how we're going to follow it with all these other computers. Once it reaches this price, this is the price you want to aim for. So don't pay any more than this. Either do price matching, do whatever you need to do to try to get this price. Now it's $300 off. This has set the precedent for this. Awesome deal here. I might even pick one of these things up. This is a great deal on Amazon, so look for this. But we're going to go through this on a whole bunch of different computers as well, and these are the kind of deals you need to find. All right, the second one we're going to talk about is the 15-inch MacBook Air base model. This is just the base model, not this one over here, but with the 8 gigs of RAM, 256 gigabyte. What should you be paying for this? I think you should be paying in between about $999. Here's one right now on Best Buy, $999 for the base model 15-inch. Or even on Amazon right now, they have it for $919. So if you can get it for $919 in that range, in between that and $999, that's the price point you want to get for the 15-inch base model with just the standard 8 gigs of RAM. Do not pay any more than that because this might even go lower. Right now, if you're buying it, this is the price you want. All right, the next model is going to be the one I have right here. This is the upgraded 15-inch MacBook Air. This has got 16 gigs of RAM and a 512 gigabyte SSD. So what should you be paying for this? No more than this. Take a look over here. $13.99 is the price point. So a lot of times you'll see this for a lot more money, and I'm going to show you that in a second. But $13.99, it fluctuates between here and Amazon. This is Best Buy. Look for this price. Do not pay any more than this because it's only going to go down from here when the M3s come out for the Airs like this. This is the M2 Air. So when the M3s come out, you're going to be paying even less here. So I think this is the best price point. But look at, if you go to Amazon right now, they're still selling this for $16.47. So you're getting what, a couple, like $50 off or something. Definitely don't do that. Get the $13.99 or lower on that. Obviously, there's a new model coming out, so do not, you want to make sure you get a good deal on this, and that's the price point. All right, the next one we're going to talk about is going to just be the 13-inch MacBook Air, the base model. So just the base model, 8 gigs, 256. What I think you should be paying, well, let's take a look over here. Here, right now we can see it's, what is it, $949 on Best Buy right now. So that's a really good price, $150 off right now. That's, I think, pretty standard. But I think you should really look for $949 to $899, somewhere in that price range. If you can get it for $899, I've seen it there a couple times, get it. It hasn't really dropped lower than that, but in between that range, $949 and $899, it's an awesome deal. Granted, the base model 15-inch is almost not too much more right now, so you got to consider you want that larger screen. But overall, I think that's a fair price. All right, the next one is going to be the 13-inch MacBook Air, but the upgraded version, 16 gigs of RAM, 512 gigabyte SSD. So upping both of those things. So if you look over here, I think this is a very good, safe bet price. $12.99 right now. This is on B&H, so that makes sense. Now it's $200 off, so it's $12.99. So I would look for this price again with the M3s coming out soon. Maybe even a little bit lower, maybe $12.50, $11.99. There's your range, $12.99 to $11.99 for that upgraded 13-inch MacBook Air, and I think that's a safe bet. All right, the next one's going to be the 14-inch M3 MacBook Pro. So just the M3 chip, not the upgraded M3 Pro, just the M3 chip, all right? So that's usually, I believe, what does that come out to? That's usually $15.99. So over here, we can see it's $14.49 right now on Amazon. So that's $150 off. That's actually a pretty good price point if you want to pick that up. I don't really recommend that with the 8 gigs, but still, some people like it. $14.49 is a fair price. I've seen it lower than this though. I've seen it down to $13.99. So definitely wait for $14.49 to $13.99. I think $13.99 is a safe bet. And obviously this thing may even drop a little bit more as we get later in the season. So maybe even down to $13.50 is a good price. So if you can get that range there, I think you got a good deal. All right, the next one is if you actually want to upgrade that system. So you just want the M3 chip, but you also want 16 gigs of RAM. Let me see here. And you want a 512 gigabyte SSD, which comes standard with it, but you want to upgrade the RAM. I think the best price if you do that, if you upgrade that model, is right here. It's $16.99. Now, I would look for this. This is a little too expensive because when you start getting in here, you're paying almost too close to the M3 Pro model, and $16.99 is just too expensive. So I would look for a price around $15.99 for this. If you can get it for $15.99 with 16 gigs of RAM, I think it's a fair deal, and I think it's a good deal. So I think look for that $16.99 to $15.99 price, and at least you know you're not getting screwed there. It's actually a pretty good deal in that range. All right, the next model up is going to be the 14-inch M3 Pro MacBook Pro, so with the M3 Pro chip. This is usually $19.99. What I think is a good deal here for sure, if you look over here right now on Amazon, $17.99 is a good deal. So if you can get it for $17.99, you can't complain. That's $200 off. It's an M3 new system. They're not coming out for a long time on the M4s, so you can't go wrong there. But I've seen these even lower. So I've seen these down to about $16.50, not $16.50, $16.99, somewhere in that range, $17.50, somewhere in there. So I would say $17.99 to $16.99 is a price you want to kind of be in. All right, the next version is going to be the M3 Pro. The M3 Pro chip, and it's going to be the 16-inch, all right? So it's the MacBook Pro. Now, this doesn't usually go on sale that much, and I think a fair price right now is if you look over here, it's on Amazon currently. It's $2,299, right? Usually $2,499, so it's $200 off right now. Not a bad deal. Obviously, you're going to be getting 8% off. It doesn't look like a lot, but still $200 is nice. So this is a good deal. I mean, obviously, but this deal runs a lot. My realistic price here, for the 16-inch, because it's not selling that well, I've seen this dip lower to $21.99 and even $2,099 at one point. So you might be able to get another $100 and $150 off this if you wait. All right, the next one is going to be the M1 13-inch MacBook Air. It's a couple of generations ago. Everyone talks about it. I used to have one. So long story short, this is not one. Long story short, though, the best, the price you definitely don't want to buy above is $749. If we look over here on Amazon, it's $899. It went back up. It used to be $749. Now they moved it up to $899. I don't know if they're running out of these or whatever. Don't buy it at $899. Definitely buy the M2. Buy something different, but don't buy it at $899. $749, yes, and I've even seen it down to $699 once. I think this thing is gonna, eventually they're gonna run out of the new ones. You may have to buy them used. You can get them a lot cheaper used, refurbished, things like that. But for new, I think $699 is the best price you're going to get. I don't think you're going to see much better than that. All right, if you want to go ahead and pick up an older M1 iMac like this one over here, they still sell them new. I think a fair price. I mean, if you look over here on Amazon, it's $11.99 right now, 8% off. And with the M3s out, that's not a good deal. So I would be looking in about $9.99 for a brand new M1 version of this, all right? Because otherwise, just go with the M3. I think $9.99 is a fair price. You get a pretty big discount there, and obviously you only get the M1. These are good for people that, for a home computer or something like that, it will work perfect for. So $9.99 I think on the M1 version of this is kind of a good deal. And the reason I think that's a bad deal is look over here. So here's the M3 version. So if you want to pick up an iMac in the M3 chip version, it's the same price, $11.99 here at B&H. It's $100 off, usually $12.99. So I think that's a good deal. Obviously, these just came out, but I have seen these as low as I think $10.99 one time. So $11.99 to $10.99 on the iMac here with the M3 chip. I think that's the best you're going to do this year. So if you see it in that range, pick one up. All right, the next one is going to be when we get some higher up models. This one's going to be the 14-inch M3 Max MacBook Pro. So with the Max chip in it, 14-inch. I think now if you look over here on B&H, let me just see here if I can find it. It looks like it's on sale for $2,999, but that's not even a sale. I think that's the standard price. So that's not a great deal right now. What you're really looking for, and I've seen these on sale a few times, you're looking between about $27.99 to $27.99 to about $27.50, somewhere in that range. A couple $100, $250 off. I think that's actually a good deal. So anything in the 2700s, I've even seen it at $26.99 one time. It's very rare, but you can sometimes get there if you look at the right sale. All right, so the 16-inch now version of the M3 Max MacBook Pro, 16-inch, kind of the base model though. Again, these both come with 36 gigs of RAM, 512 gigabyte SSD in these. So if you look over here, this is not a good sale here. It's $32.99. You can see it right there, and here it is. So that's the standard price again. It's at B&H. So these are sometimes hard to find, so they don't deal them that much because it's a very specialty order. But if you're looking for it, I think a fair price on this, and again, this is just from what I've seen, would be about $29.99 to about $3,100. So if you go back there again, $32.99, so that's about $31.99, so that's about, again, $150 to $200 off. That's really what you want here. I haven't seen too many deals below that. So if you get into that range, that's going to be a fair deal for you. All right, the M2 Mac Mini. We've seen this all over the place. Now the M3s are coming out soon, so you got to be careful with that. So you should get a good deal on this. If you look over here on Amazon, they're selling for $4.99 right now. That's usually $5.99. That's an okay deal, but that's what they always been. You can get that with a student discount as well. So $4.99, you don't pay any more than that no matter what. I would look for $4.49. And in one rare case, I saw it for $3.99. So I do think when the M3s come out, Apple may not sell this directly, but I think you're going to see a little bit of a drop here because people aren't going to be picking these up. But anyways, $4.99 is okay. $4.49 is where you want to be in these, and then you got a good deal. All right, so the Mac Mini, this is the Pro model, so the M2 Pro Mac Mini. This comes standard with 16 gigs of RAM, I believe, and a 512 gigabyte SSD. So this is going to be good for video editing if you want a desktop. Right now, it's on Amazon for about $11.99. You can see it right here, 8% off, and it's usually $12.99. So overall, from what I've seen on that, it's a fairly good deal, $11.99, but I've still seen it a little bit cheaper at $10.99. So I think a good price for that would be $10.99 if you can find it. Again, wait to price match things out, and you'll get a good deal there. I wouldn't pay the full $12.99 no matter what. Obviously, the new systems are coming out. All right, the M2 Max Studio. So obviously it's the bigger computer. I think a fair price for that. Obviously, I think it starts, you can always find it for $19.99, but I'm looking here, I think a good price for that would be fair. A good deal price would be $17.95. I've seen it there before. It's dropped at about $205 or whatever. So I would look for that price again. Obviously, we got the M3s coming out soon. This is only an M2 Max chip, mind you, but still an incredible deal. If you can find it anywhere in the 1700s for a Max chip on the Studio, pick it up. All right, now if you want to go back a generation, and we'll just cover a couple more here. Now this is going to be the 14-inch MacBook Pro M2 model. Again, let me just see here. It's going to have 16 gigs RAM, 512 gigabyte SSD. This right now is the M2 version of it. Obviously the M3 version of this came out already. But look over here at Apple. This is Apple Refurbished. This one isn't new, but it's very close. That's selling it for $15.99 right now, $300 off. I've seen this even lower than that. So I think a good price in this is from $15.99 if you buy it directly from Apple. If you buy it from somebody else, I would look for $14.99 or even a little bit cheaper. I've seen it $14.50, somewhere in that range. And you want to get enough off, a couple of $300-400 off the M3 model, and that's what you would do here. So I think this is a good deal from Apple. If you look from some other manufacturer, as long as it's not refurbished, it probably will be, then you got to be talking a couple $100 less than this. I would spend in that $1,400 range, not $15.99 to pick this up. And then finally, here is the, let's see here, the 16-inch. This is the M2 Pro chip again, the base model. And you can see it's $350 off, $2,049. So we obviously saw that on the M3 model that's already out, you can get a couple $100 off already. I think $200 off. Here's $300 off. That's only a $100 difference. Granted, this has got some advantages in some ways with different performance cores and the various things. The M2 version works really well still. But I would look for this around $19.99 to $18.99 to look for those deals. I think this is from, again, if you're buying it from Apple Refurbished, it's one thing. They're going to be a little bit higher. Obviously, you know where you're getting it. You can go to the store and buy it. If you're going to buying it from anybody else, I would look for at least $50 more or 150 up to $150 more off this cost. So all the way down to $2,000 to whatever, $1,900, somewhere in that range. I think that's a fair price, and you definitely want to pay up. You want to have at least $300 to $400 difference between this and the M3. Okay, so we're going to wrap this up. Those are the best deals you should look for when you're buying a Mac and stuff. I hope you guys like these videos. There's a super long video once again, and I want to wrap it up. But we'll talk to everybody in the near future here. Peace.